Welcome to the astrology for the week of November the 20th to the 27th. It is a Mars and a Pluto dominated week ahead. Most of the intense action that we're going to talk about for your sign, listen for your sun, moon, and rising this week is going to be the Mars square Saturn. Intense energy as Mars ingresses or moves into the sign of Sagittarius and forms a hard aspect called a square to Saturn sitting in direct motion but very barely moving at 0 degrees of Pisces. So we're going to talk about how that starts to play out midweek. We just start to feel the energies Wednesday, culminating all the way through to the end of next weekend through to Sunday. We're going to talk a little bit about the Pluto energy as well as this week goes ahead. I'm going to spend most of this time talking about you, not mundane astrology, but if you want more of that kind of world event astrology, please go ahead, subscribe and like my channel because I do talk in most videos about how this is also about world events. In this particular video though, we're keeping it simple and short and sweet. It's about you and your sign and how you can navigate your sky so that you can make your life a bit easier and watch out for those quicksand moments. Hey, if you're new to my channel, my name is Lori Lothian. I am using the Western Tropical Zodiac, whole sign houses. I love the fixed stars and the minor asteroids. All that kind of content is here. So go ahead, give me a like, subscribe, check me out. If you want to know about my 2024 All Signs videos pre-sale right now for only $49 instead of $77, I'm giving you a chance to buy them before I release them. This is private content as a fundraiser I do every year to help support equipment like my microphones and support staff and stuff to help my business grow. So if you want to get the 12 videos, 75 minutes long each, plus a PDF guidebook for all of 2020 that I create for you for all of 2024's major transits, that content is available under the More button in the description box below. Go ahead and grab that. You'll get that delivered to you on the 3rd week of November around Thanksgiving. Okay, so, and buy it for your friends, family, listen for your sun and moon. Let's talk about the week ahead. Number one, it is an intense week in the sense that Mars is getting into the action. And this is in such a way that Mars is going to create some significant tension. I'm going to show you the sky, but I wanted to say in the very beginning of the week, we're coming off the Sun-Mars cazimi. Go check out my All Signs video that just came out. It's doing really well. Recording this on Thursday, November 16th for my Patreon community, but go check out the All Signs video for, the Mars cazimi, and you'll get a really good sense of how that cazimi on the 17th, 18th of the month is still flowing in to the end of the week behind us. And that reset of your Scorpio sky over 2 years in your chart is deeply meaningful, not seen since 1991. So I encourage you to really go back and look at that video because it's not about what happened last week. It's about what will happen for you over the next 2 years. But in the meantime, we're coming off of that Sun-Mars conjunction, and then around November 20th to the 22nd, we kind of experience a bit of, or 21st, Sun sextile Pluto. This is really good for powering up your purpose, your passions, by being really incisive, having a kind of X-ray vision of understanding about what it is you really want to do in career, in purpose, in sense of personal power. So a general feel-good personal power vibe going on for most people between the 20th, or in other words, Monday through Wednesday. But it is as we move towards Wednesday, I really want you to get ready for what is a challenging relationship between Mars and Saturn. Now, while Mars and the Sun are both in a sextile to Pluto, Pluto in the late degrees of Capricorn, Mars and Sun in the late degrees of Scorpio, which is wonderful and very empowering energetically, and I cover that in my cazimi video, as we head to Wednesday through to the end of the next weekend, even into Monday, we feel the Mars opposition to Saturn energy strongly. And before I delineate this for your sign and let me show it to you, I will tell you a bit about what the archetypal energies of Mars, action, power, will, and drive, momentum, directionality, decisions, squaring off with Saturn, stability, edifices, perseverance, discipline, and hard work, or also sometimes literally caution, means. Number one, it tends to feel like frustration. Most people born with a Mars square Saturn experience a great deal of wanting to move forward, but feeling stuck. So there's a frustration embedded here. Another metaphor is foot on the gas pedal and the brake at the same time. That said, Saturn's a wise, sage-like being. He's not just this god of restriction, constriction, and difficulty. He can represent the Senex, the wise woman, the wise man in each of us. He's in Pisces, a very transcendent and mystical sign, and he's looking back over his shoulder at Mars squaring him. I would say that Mars, of course, is in Sagittarius and an element that he likes. He can be very hot and fiery, adventurous, bold, daring, filled with good faith, hope, and optimism, and even adventure. He's kind of like a Labrador puppy and a soldier of some kind, a soldier of goodness, ideally, Sag. And yeah, Saturn's, in watery Pisces, working on some really deep stuff. Working on some really deep stuff for you, for me, for the world. Although hardship with water, Pisces and Neptune, we've seen, and we'll see more of that this year. We're going to see a lot of, I think, unfortunately, not just floods, but some really catastrophic like water events that we've been seeing ever since Saturn joined with Neptune in Pisces in March. This Titanic sub that imploded, ferry of 700 people dying in Greece, trying to get in a boat to escape their country. That was in early, maybe March, April, May. And Fukushima water going into the ocean off of Japan. Water hardship, sea hardship at sea, war at sea. Unfortunately, that's possible too. Not like in that one. Very much Taiwan, China, and or nuclear submarines off the coast of Israel, Gaza. Not good. But nonetheless, these things are there. In the meantime, for your personal experience of Wednesday through Sunday, you're likely just to feel very much on edge about a push-pull environment within yourself. So one of my favorite writers is Ren Butler. I encourage everyone to get his book. It is every astrologer's staple. Even one of my mentors and friends, teachers is Adam Ellenbus, and he loves this book. So we astrologers love this book. So Mars, Saturn in general, okay, is fine, but here are the darker sides. Oppressive work regimes, inhibited frustrations of energies, a tendency to feel like a victim while acting as a perpetrator, ongoing bitterness, hate, harsh boundary collisions. Well, boundaries is Saturn. And of course, walls is Saturn, and in Pisces, it's like refugees and the underdogs. And so we're going to see a lot of intensity in the collective, but I want to talk about you to do with what I just said, harsh boundaries and ongoing bitterness and collisions of maybe ideologies even. So with the Gaza situation, which the Palestinians have been compressed into the south, which nowhere is safe, at this point, we're going to see some kind of intense blowing, frustration, maybe world frustration about the situation and an inability to rein in what's going on there and be able to mitigate some of the intense infrastructure catastrophic damage of like 1 in every second Palestinian home being obliterated. Where are they going to go? There's nowhere to go after this bombardment. So we're going to see something coming up around those things in each of our lives. So this is happening in 2 houses of your chart. You have 2 places, that is Mars in Sagittarius and Saturn in Pisces. For me, like it's my 11th house of gains from my career. I'm an Aquarius rising, which is the Sag part of my sky. It's also where my midheaven is, and it's the earnings and getting the gusto of making money and earning money where Saturn is, and there's some kind of conflict here. I'm probably just going to feel like I don't want to work for some reason, I was like going to lie around by the pool. So let's talk about some more shadow qualities, then we'll go ahead and talk about how you can handle this with your rising sign and sun and moon. Had a weird comment in one of my last videos that I'm not calm, and I said, well, I have 3 planets in Aries, I'm not calm, but this is calm for me. Right. And I had some really gnarly criticism after that I think I just might pin because this person was so weird about it. Telling me to go into therapy or something. So guys, I talk quickly because I have a lot of air and I have a lot of fire. So you can always slow down my speed. Shadow qualities. We're going to look at that right now. Okay. This is the shadow quality of a difficult relationship between Mars and Saturn, independent of signage. So squares or oppositions, fear-driven action, inhibited or frustrated energies, a sense of being stuck. I have measured my life with coffee spoons, T.S. Eliot quote. He's born with a Mars-Saturn trine though. The experience of one's job is a grinding, oppressive work regimes, harsh taskmasters, feelings of grouchiness, irritability, butting heads, hammering against something, confronting people. In my newsletter from my Cosmic Moonshine, followers. I called it the hitting the wall aspect. You may hit a wall in some part of your life, scrunched or be scrunched, boundary collisions, people actively pointing out where one needs to curb oneself. Willful focused aggression, right? We're focusing aggression in a willful and stern way. Taskmaster Saturn, Mars is aggression. Hardened attitudes, feeling like a victim, acting like a perpetrator, anger, fear, bitterness, hate, oh my goodness, repressed or smoldering anger, cold rage, cold boiled, deliberate cruelty, distrust in all whom the impulse to punish is powerful. Nietzsche, distrust all in whom the impulse to punish is powerful. What an incredible quote. Wow. 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 Okay. So that's suddenly striking me very distrust all in whom the impulse to punish is powerful, deliberate cruelty. When it comes to what's going on in the world right now, Israel and Palestine in particular, what's a lot of protests of conscientious citizens globally are trying to call for a ceasefire because it seems like extraordinarily punitive damage is being done to the infrastructure and the people and the children and the women of Gaza, independent of what you think about the original Hamas situation, incursion, October 7th. No matter what you think about that, the law of proportionality when it comes to war is no longer being, or human, or even war crimes are being, accusing Israel of war crimes for their actions. So there's something about that that really haunts me a bit here, to think about Wednesday through Sunday as this energy builds up. Let me show you the sky. Right now, as I record on November 16th, Israel invaded the Al-Shifa hospital, and they're not finding these massive infrastructures, multiple levels of tunnels below the hospital after all. A few diapers here and a couple Kalashnikov guns or something in the basement of the hospital. But, now the world is also asking Israel to ante up the evidence for the massive amount of death in and around that hospital. So I have a feeling that may not be forthcoming because it may not, unfortunately, exist. So here we have November the 20th, and November the 20th, as you may well know, is going to be Monday. And what we see is that we see that Mars is at 27 degrees of Scorpio. He's still conjunct the sun, right? He's in that Kazemi story, but it was more exact on the 17th and 18th. And he's still deeply, deeply invisible and hugging the sun. I will be doing a Mars in Sag video because it's a very different Mars in Sagittarius than we normally see because he is still invisible. But we'll be covering all signs on that shortly, and you'll be able to watch that video either just before or after you receive this one. I would say that as we watch the week begin, Mars at 27 conjunct the sun, still deeply invisible, still playing out the Kazemi story, right? We start off on Monday, and this Mars Sun energy for the collective, for each of us individually, is squaring the moon. There are going to be heavy, difficult, hard feelings for the collective, for the people, happening during the Monday time frame. And this is when that moon is really in touch on Monday with this Mars Sun combination. So there's hard feelings, hardship for people feeling difficult emotions, just an emotionally difficult day. It always depends on your rising sign and sun and moon. I'm just giving a collective thing before we hit the all signs, running, off to the all signs. And then as we move forward, and that's really the highlight to me of the day. Yes, the sun and Mars are in a sextile to Pluto, and that will be true Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, more or less. It's really about what area of your life do you need to power up in through actions and decisions. And that's basically a theme that's ongoing for the beginning of the week. Power, wealth, transformation through actions and decisions you're making. Although with Mars invisible, some of the outpicturing of this may not be seen until he becomes visible in Capricorn in January. And I touched on that in my newsletter as well. As we move forward into this part of the week, we're moving now into the 22nd, and this is going to look a little bit like we can begin to feel the heat. Now I heard the heat between me and you. I heard that song by Prince for some reason. Okay, so we're feeling some heat here as we get closer into Wednesday, and we begin to notice a few things going on. Now Mars, Sun energies. Okay, Mars is still sextiling Pluto, but the Sun at 29 degrees of Capricorn is getting ready to square Saturn. Not quite yet. You know, astronomically, yes, but astrologically, we want to see the sun cross the border. And now the sun is square Saturn. That for the world on the 23rd of the month, which is week, which is Thursday, can look something along the lines of difficulty with a world leader, difficulty with someone in power being constrained, restricted, punished, held back, disciplined. That's all I can say about that. General themes. Sagittarius is the rising sign of Netanyahu, Biden, Iran, and the country of Iran, the country of the USA, for example. So there's some stern difficulty, challenges to or with a world leader figure going on around Thursday. I would give it or take a day on either side for sure. Not to be so precise, it's just one day. Mercury is dispensing news, by the way, but he's rather religiously zealous or unclear about the details here in the sign of Sag. So there could be big news stories to do with USA, Iran, Netanyahu, Biden. These are Sagittarius energies in the world stream. Israel is a Libra rising, by the way, over here. Venus, the goddess of peace, is coming to the south node, and this will be bad for reconciliation and peace in Israel. As you can see, that energy is about to play out and it's building in its intensity as we go into the middle of this week. I'll be doing a whole video on that Venus South Node, so stay tuned for that. It's also in my Venus transit video, rare South Node transit Venus video, but I'll do a special video on it as well for each of us. Now, as you go forward and you continue into the week, we're going to see this. We're going to see Mars at 0 degrees on Friday. And this is when it really begins, November 24th, all the way through to Monday the 27th, when Mars begins to really activate Saturn from a whole sign perspective. Though even all week you're feeling the sense, maybe building a frustration, I think it's going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the acute phase and the intensity of it, that we all feel this squishy energy here between Mars and the sun, you know, in a square to Saturn. And again, unfortunately, Mars is war. Mars and Sag is very warrior-like with his archer's arrow. Sun is world leader, a little religious zealot type speech, or I am right righteousness going on here, but squaring Saturn in the sign of Pisces. In the United States natal chart, this is the home, the homeland. This is also the fourth house of the opposing party to the Democrat Party, which are the Republicans, for example. Every country has its own chart, right? But there's some kind of restriction or constraint, difficulty or challenge that a warring zealotous leader is having in their self-righteous expression. Netanyahu is born as a Sagittarius rising. He might be curtailed. Now, I don't want to make this too bad, but, you know, Mars-Sun conjunctions can be assassinations of world leaders. Just want you to know that. I'm not saying that's going to happen. And there's a lot of world leaders out there. There's not just one. So we don't know. I don't know what that could mean exactly. So as we move into that weekend, I'm going to do all signs right now. Just grab, you know, a cup of coffee, a tea. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this video this week because I'm going to do a few more videos about this Saturn thing, a separate standalone video that goes into the more detail of the asteroids and the stars involved. But in your own life, I want you to think about, you have two houses. We're going to cover them and we're going to go quickly. Sagittarius house and your Pisces house. Now, we're not starting with Libra, so let's move that chart forward to get to Aries, and then we'll get rolling in a very pithy way. I'm hoping I'm not talking too fast for you, but if I am, you can adjust your playback speed. All you have to do is hit the playback speed button on YouTube and make me faster or slower, depending on your desire. So I'm trying to pace my speech the best I can, but I do talk fast, alrighty? Could have been an auctioneer. Yeah, I could have been. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and if you're new to my channel, give me a tryout. If you like this kind of content early, my Patreon community is getting it on Thursday the 16th, so they'll have a big heads up about next week's events from my perspective recording for you. But if you want this kind of access to the content before the rest of the world with never having any ads, for $5 a month, plus you get to meet with me once a month in a VIP Zoom room, or just we have monthly meetings. Come and check it out. All right, let's roll. Number one, November 24th, Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, add 3 days throughout the weekend, Friday to Sunday. You're going to feel this intensity, maybe frustration, maybe feeling stuck. What Mars wants in your ninth house of foreign countries, foreign shores, legal matters, trips and travel, especially abroad, and things to do perhaps with book publishing or even academic environments. Mars is ambitious, gung-ho, wants to get something going. He's full of fire and light and zest with the sun, and he's very talkative as well. You could have some communications though about visas, passports, academic situations, court matters, and legal matters that are causing you a feeling of frustration or a stuck energy. And Saturn, he's like saying from your 12th house, Aries, something like, well, let's look at this. Another foreign lands house, right? Saturn in a house of foreign shores, especially revenue from foreign shores. Saturn's trying to put up a bit of a wall, and he's trying to put up a halt or a pause button on something. I would say that he wants to halt and pause something for your better financial good because of Jupiter moving toward him from your second house of earnings. And so maybe there's something you wish to do to earn money from abroad, or something to do with travel, foreign shores, lands, courts, and legal matters. And you're just gung-ho and ambitious, but it may be time to hold off, time to give it a breather. Technically, this could also be Mars in the house of two siblings up from you, who's also combative towards you, or somebody in a third marriage situation, partnership, causing some kind of combustion here. But nonetheless, Saturn is very wise and sage-like in the 12th house. He is more like the hermit cave dwelling monk. And I would think that Saturn slow down on something you want to go gangbusters on. Ninth house stuff, dharma, teaching, school, courts and stuff. Slow down, pause, and don't let the frustration get the better of you, because as you get through to Monday, this will pass. And what you wait to do rather than rush headlong into will benefit you financially over the course of next year. And we're talking about Jupiter, by the way. All right, Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Mars, he's all gung-ho in your chunky money house. He wants that inheritance yesterday. He wants that spousal resources, money, alimony thing resolved. He wants you to really battle for what's yours in terms of that commission, severance package, payout, insurance policy, or tax situation. But Saturn's like, hey, hold up already. Saturn's in your 11th house of good spirit. This is a place of karmic rewards. This is a place of windfalls and pennies from heaven. It's crazy how many people get unexpected money gains here over time watching clients. And yet the square is going to feel like you need to hold up on some exciting, passionate, driven direction around money. Now, of course, it could possibly be passionate Mars in the house of sexual intimacy and tantra, wanting to go gung-ho, into the dungeon or something. And Saturn's like, no, you can't do that with your best friend, because Saturn's in the house of friendships. You could have some tension also, Taurus, with an elder sibling around money situations that involve mutual resources to do with mortgages, property, land, real estate, or with something to do with money you share with someone else, and an elder sibling giving you some grief. I want you to know, though, that Saturn's wisdom can be useful here, because ultimately what he wants you to roll out through this frustration is some kind of personal goodness, as he wants to expand your sense of who you are as he looks over at that retrograde Jupiter coming toward him, helping you become more magnanimous, large, great, optimistic, and big energy of who you really are. So the hold up is for your good, and the pause or the constriction will work out in the end. Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Well, this is Mars in your house of others. And so this can be a very difficult time for some Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Risings, because your marriage type partner or business partners or audience can be gnarly. I just got like some weird troll stuff. My son's progressed into Gemini, and I'm like, okay, the trolls are back. Well, that's Mars in the 7th house for Geminis, right? So I'm going to get ready for 6 weeks of trolling. But, your marriage type partner starting, around November 24th, that's when Mars ingresses into Sag, can be very agitated, but maybe also very active and very, very aggressively pursuing something. So keep that in mind. But this Mars is something to do with another person. As an audience member, client, your business partner or your marriage partner is opposing, squaring, or resisting something you're doing in your career. Saturn is you establishing legacy in your career, or you coming to a place of authentic mastery and authority in your career. And for some reason, there's tension from that client, business partner, or marriage type partner that is pushing against that. Now, Saturn's all wise and all knowing, in my humble opinion here. And so what he does is he says, well, I'm looking over at Jupiter in the long game. And Jupiter says, well, we're doing foreign lands, foreign shores, foreign revenue. We're busting through addictions and self-undoing. And we want to pursue noble truths in the deepest part of our being and in alignment with our career. And so what I think is going on here is that you have a lot of authentic integrity right now, Gemini, with that sextile forming between, Saturn and Jupiter, broadly speaking. And so you basically have this. But whoever these objectors are, conscientious or otherwise, in the house of others, just like take a few deep breaths, do a few yoga poses, maybe do a meditation or two Friday through Sunday, because somebody's going to be poking at you in your visible reputation space. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, the sky is suggesting that Mars is going to amble through your sixth house of work and livelihood, health and health protocols. It can be really good for more physical activity in your life to better your health. But when it first begins to happen, November the 24th, Mars in his joy in the sixth house, technically, is going to come into a gnarly, difficult tension with Saturn in your house of your higher educational endeavors, colleges, campuses, legal and court matters that require judges and lawyers, things to do with long distance travel, things maybe also with Saturn up here to do with your beliefs and what you really wish to establish as a traditional philosophical belief about reality and ideology, something like that. And Saturn here makes those things traditional. You're looking for a tradition, but it is water. So it is very mystical tradition, can serve you spiritually. Cancer rising. If you're into book publishing, there's a hold up. I mean, Saturn up here can give you a traditional publisher or good outcomes in publishing, but Mars is from the house of work and livelihood having some problems. Mars wants to just bust forth, and Saturn is, whoa, slow down. If you are a Cancer trying to publish something, and I have a couple of Cancers who are indeed, one of my followers was a Cancer. Hopefully I can get in touch with her, the feral writer, because this is literally like, wait, don't jump, just wait, don't be aggressive, don't leap before you look here. And particularly with Jupiter in the 11th house of great gains and really positive stuff, even though he's retrograde until the end of December, he's still able to witness that Saturn story. And it kind of is like, okay, just take a chill pill here. Okay, don't rush. Do not rush. It's so simple, because you have something better coming in legal matters, in academic settings. You get the university acceptance, but you don't want that university. Wait, you get this court matter stalled. Wait. I should have said at the beginning, wait. This is a wait transit. Do not push forward and do not hit your head against a wall. Wait. An elder sibling or friends who act as allies can really come into the mix here to support you in the word wait. Now, Mars can bring inflammation to your health, like rashes, okay, or something like that. So be careful for that. Maybe just an inflammatory health condition is flaring and it's having you hold back on something, ninth house, that you really wish to pursue, but it's time to take a breather. Just wait. You may be looking at rental situations and pet challenges as well during Friday through Sunday based on the Venus placement relative to the Mars. And so there's that as well. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. In the sky, Mars. He's going to be activated very powerfully in the house of your children, fertility and pregnancy, things to do, fifth house, things to do with entrepreneurial endeavors, should you be an entrepreneur, creative projects, things to do with leisure travel, fun, play, and pleasure, sexuality and romance. Oh, Mars with the sun, a lot of intensity. He's still invisible though. And he is just, and the Sag is there. So communications, I talked about this in another video, but that, Mercury is going to be coming into a square to Neptune next week. And that can really bring in some, November 27th onward, some really untrue conversations with your children you have to really watch for. But before we even get there, Leos, if you have children or your lover, we look at this time and I think, okay, Mars is passionate drive and sexual energy here in the house of sexual energy. And yet you've got a square to Saturn in the 8th house of chunky money, shared resources with another, occult mysteries, dead people. I don't know. It's like something deep within your psyche is objecting to some passionate endeavor, or there's a financial issue with a lover or a child that's causing frustration and tension for you, especially if it involves loans or money owed, because the eighth house involves that as well. And this is going to feel like, okay, that's tense. You know, I asked my lover to pay, you know, the check and he didn't. I asked my kid to own up some financial obligation and they didn't. So there's a lot of frustration here, for example. However, what you also can see is that you got some support from Jupiter retrograde in the 10th house. Now that's really to say things that are going on in your career, especially in January through May, are really stellar and you're having a lot of luck and success up there. You're really going to have some exciting things next year. Holy man, with your career, Leos. But as Jupiter is able to witness Saturn as he duels with Mars, I'd say look to people in authority that you respect to give you wise and good guidance about how to deal with this story. It's that simple. Jupiter rules your house. Jupiter's in Taurus, ruled by Venus in the house of siblings. So maybe advice from a sibling or a neighbor can be really useful, or a cousin even, to help guide you in some tension with a lover, love situation, creative project, entrepreneurial project that's financially draining you maybe, or something like that. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, the sky is opening up a gateway here of tension. Oh, yes, Friday through Sunday with Mars in a square to Saturn. It's a big relationship issue, probably, with your significant other, if you have one. If you don't have one, it can be a blowout with a client, a business partner, or somebody other than you, somebody who's significantly in your life. Now, Saturn will make your primary love-like type relationship harder than usual until 2026, as he tests whether or not it's a enduring and lasting relationship. And if you're single, that can bring you a new person who's a lasting, enduring, but also 6 to 7 years younger or older. But I wouldn't start a new relationship under this energy for sure. So Mars is conflict in the home, frustration in the home, construction in the home, moving your home, changing your home, squaring off against a significant person in your life who's objecting and pausing and saying, wait. Now, it's interesting in this case, you know, if I go with Jupiter supporting Saturn from a sextile position, I'd say there's some wisdom here in waiting, rather than just say, I'm out of here, I'm moving out of this house, or, you know, or then just jumping into a massive construction project that your better half says it's not a good idea now. So take some time to breathe through that. You know, Mars here, he's conjunct the sun, unfortunately, and a trine, coming into a trine to Chiron / North Node in your 8th house. And there can be some pending paternal inheritance monies for you, or awareness of some money coming through a father figure. And that doesn't always have to be a father. If you're with a man you consider to be almost like a dad to you, or whatever, for a woman, or you're gay and your partner's your daddy in some way, well, then that kind of person also can be bringing you some longer term financial gain that feels like, you know, bequeathments, alimony, spousal support, stuff like that. So that could be a story that's playing out over 6 weeks, just so you know. Listen to my Mars All Signs videos. But this little tension spot, I think Jupiter in the 9th house, call your pastor, call your psychologist, call your guide or mentors in and have them breathe you through this one and tell you what's the best solution, what to do, so that you don't make impulsive decisions from what is sheer absolute frustration with some significant person in your life, or their frustration with you, causing a bit of domestic tension that can maybe be fleeting Friday through Sunday, and taking bold declarative action you may regret, especially with regards to home situations, is probably not advisable. Libra, sun, moon. Oh, don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe if you're in the premiere, especially a shout out to all my regulars. You know, I just saw some of you come back. I haven't seen you for a long time. Mad Hippies Live, Bold and Beautiful Tarot, Psychic Readings with Rose, Herbal Empress who just had her baby, LA Taylor, Misbehaving from Scotland, Linda Calder from Scotland. I love my Scottish contingent. India, who's off in like Norway or something. And I've got Anastasia from South Africa. All of you guys, thanks for being a part of my crew. Jupiter 8, I just saw you recently, haven't seen you for a while. Of course, always Stephen the Jupiterian as well. Part of the regulars who come into my channel to chat with me in the live premiere about the content itself. I take personal questions about the astrology. If you want that kind of stuff with me, intimacy, getting to know me, I don't think I've missed more than 3 live premieres by being with my listeners. My last premiere had 520 people there. That was crazy. That doesn't mean 520 people are in the chat. That means 520 people were watching at once. But a lot of people in the chat are my regulars, so come check it out. Let's get going. So a Libra sun, moon, and rising sign. This is a story where Mars is activating a huge amount of intensity in a travel house, the third house. Also, cars and automobiles and stuff like that can be very, and commuting can be very active for you as he moves into Sagittarius on the 24th of the month. But when he first gets in there, this is Friday through Sunday, he's going to square Saturn. And that square to Saturn looks really hard because you might want to go on a trip. You might want to make some changes in your neighborhood. You might want to have a fight with a neighbor. A neighbor may be fighting with you. Who knows? Your younger sibling may be causing you some tension. And it's squaring off with Saturn in the sixth house of your health and work, mental, emotional, physical health, and work routines. Well, seriously, I mean, you're trying to establish some serious, better health routines with Saturn here, some kind of turbulence with a sibling, with a local neighborhood environment, some kind of a, intensity is picking up. It definitely can look like a work trip that frustrates you. You don't want to take that work trip, but you have to, or the work trip is going to fall apart, or they're frustrated by the need for a travel for work. Also, professional education for Mars here, pushing forward excitedly to take some kind of professional or educational program, and Saturn wants to slow it down. Just wait, just wait. That's an example. Mars in the third house, if you have an online presence, is exciting. You're going to work really hard, build up your website, get some gung-ho, yay you in that part of the sky. But Saturn in the workhouse wants to go slow, take it easy, and has a caution flag up. So don't just jump ahead and boldly put your website out there, especially when Mars is invisible. Wait, wait, wait. Friday through Sunday's frustration, though, you have some support from Jupiter in the house of chunky money and your own psychology, dead people. You may be able to draw some money off of your savings, 401k, stock investments in order to facilitate some better health routines or more solid work routines and just slow down a bit. I mean, certainly Mars is very excited in the third house and he probably wants to build the website, launch the platform thingy, take that trip, jump into that study or course material. And yet Saturn is slowing everything down. This all ends next Monday, Tuesday, and you can move past it. Friday through Sunday, though, don't try to push for that trip or that neighbor. Don't let that neighbor push you over the edge and destroy your mental health. Cousin, neighbor, younger sibling, tensions can arise that impact you in your health and work area of life. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. I think that this is going to look a lot like financial stuff. You've got a lot going on in the house of your money, your earnings, also speech, voice, vocation, and calling, and just speaking, your second house. This is going to look a lot like you might have very bold speech, very bold words, very loud words, very inspired and motivational words coming out of your mouth. But also you may find this very intense drive to increase your earnings and make more money and really kill it here. And yet, even with Mercury really good at buying and selling stuff and communicating here, but in the wrong sign for his comfort, you have Saturn slowing you down. Now, Saturn is in the house of entrepreneurship, sex and romance, children, and even in the house of creative projects that you wish to establish legacy, long-lasting value. You're working hard on your creative projects, your art, your expression, your writing, whatever you're doing. You might need to just slow something down, take a pause, take a breather. And if you have any kind of opportunity financially through entrepreneurial or creative projects, which you may, given the placement of Mercury, definitely take a little bit of a legalese eye here because Jupiter, all right, in the house of legal contracts is supporting Saturn for the slowdown. Don't jump into anything professionally that you haven't really checked the legal contracts out, especially if it involves creative projects that you may want to license out or someone wants to buy the rights to or something like that. Jupiter can be like looking at it from the legal viewpoint of what contracts and vows are most adept. Jupiter is also your spouse or your significant business type partner, and they're also able to sort of help you see Friday through Sunday what you need to do because you'll feel frustrated. It's like you want to do something very big in your voice and your earnings and all of that, but Saturn like whoa, slow it down. And I'd say just wait till Venus gets into Scorpio and out of Libra. Although she's in detriment, it is your sign, and she can really help you then bust up and bust through with some creative projects that really flow for you. So you need to wait for that Venus ingress, coming up in a couple of weeks after this. So keep that in mind. All right, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. This is Mars, and he is all gung-ho, full of vim and vigor in the house of you. You might want to make major life decisions, major turning point actions. You are full of it. Don't forget, Mars is invisible, so he may not give you the best advice about what changes to make in your life, what action plans, what travel plans to take. And Mercury's confused. So just breathe through some decisions here, because it may be massive challenges around decisions you want to make regarding property, land, home, real estate, domestic, private life, and people and situations in your home itself. Even an elder in the home may object to things you wish to do with vigor and vim and say, wait a minute, slow it down. Look particularly to things from your childhood and people from your childhood as well, to be telling you to take a pause button here. You can see that you got some support though from Jupiter in the sixth house. The sixth house is livelihood and work and health routines, and Jupiter is looking at Saturn in teamwork vibe, and they're like, okay, whatever you're trying to decide on, take action on, and boldly declare. And Saturn says slow down. Again, domestic life, home, property, real estate. Jupiter offers some support. Maybe there's a rental property for you. Maybe you need to rent a property out rather than do what you're trying to do, like sell it. Maybe you've got some situation with a debt, a pet, or a work or health situation that's really relevant to why you should just wait it out before you make a major life choice that you may later regret. Friday through Sunday, you want to go boldly forward where you've never gone before. Breathe, take a break, wait, especially if it involves travel to foreign shores. Maybe just pause that button, okay? Sun is with Mars and rules your house of foreign lands. All right, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. This is Mars. He's in the 12th house of foreign lands and travel, the underdog, the underprivileged, your own self-undoing, revenue you can create from far off from foreign shores and people. And, you know, a lot of times when Mars is here, people want to travel somewhere foreign to their natal birthplace, big adventures. And you may have a yearning for that, or Mars does. You may still want to cut away some of your addictions and self-undoing here. Or technically, a father figure is in a hospital, right? Friday through Sunday. And you're feeling a male figure, and you're feeling frustration here from Saturn in your third house of communication, websites, travel, and trips. There's a lot of travel tension for sure. Friday through Sunday, maybe somebody's ill in a hospital and you can't communicate properly with the doctor or with them. Jupiter lends support though from the fifth house of your lover and your children, and look to those lovers and children in your life to be able to guide you to see why slowing down, pausing is a good idea, because Jupiter's backing that Saturn up, and you could get some clarity. You don't need to make a jump start decision here, okay? Take a deep breath first. Now, one of the things I'd say also, I just saw a spider in my house, is that I'm going to take a picture of it because then it doesn't make sure it's not a scary one. Where's my phone? Well, I can't find it, so I'll take a picture later. I think I got a spider bite last night. Yeah, it's on the inside of the window though. That's good. All right, what else can I tell you? Just as I told my partner I was bit by a spider and he didn't believe me, yeah? All right, just for spiders for Scorpio, Capricorns, your children can be an ally here, as well as a younger sibling, giving you the guidance, advice, and directionality you need to make more informed decisions about travel and about situations to do with somebody in a hospital. Lean on others. The frustration will end on Monday. All right, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is a story here for sure, no doubt about it. There goes the spider, he just left. Hey, I know, I'm fixating on a spider. I wanted to get a picture to see what kind it was. Alrighty, he just went flying off. Was on the outside of the window. I know, guys, I'm sorry, I doth digress. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign in the sky, what you've got going on here. Yeah, you. This is definitely a situation where you can find yourself, I'm one of you, right? I'm Aquarius rising. You can find yourself wanting to really bust out in the 11th house. Now that can be in a connection to greater gains from your career, working harder on getting those career gains to happen in terms of reputation or money. You may also be having some intensity around an elder sibling if those people are important to you, or you have especially a male elder sibling, or somebody who is an ally or benefactor who's powerful, and they're up there and they're like doing something powerfully supportive of you, sextiling Aquarius, but you got Saturn going, whoa, slow it down. Saturn in the house of earnings, voice and vocation, calling, and making money, says, let's pause this baby. He's been direct since November 4th, so he does have a good sense of what is the best direction to go. And now he says to Mars, well, just slow it down. Let's pause. Let's not run headlong into some kind of career opportunity. Let's not run headlong into some kind of ambitious money-making career space energy. Take a breather. And Jupiter wants to support that from your domestic environment. People you live with, people that you trust in your home and domestic life will be also allies for the slow down. Now, technically, Saturn in a sextile Jupiter is bringing you some very good financial opportunities through property, land, home, and real estate. And yet you're all this excitement going on. And maybe it could be something as simple as an elder sibling or a friend or an ally wants you to, I don't know, buy something with them, buy a house or whatever, I don't know, because you have to spend money in the second house as well as earn it. And Saturn is very concerned about that. Be careful with spending. So spending with abandon on something that you think is like one of your best hopes, dreams, and wishes for your life. One of the things that you must have, the must-haves of the sky, the 11th house. Mercury's there, and that can involve communications as well that are going to be confusing, especially around the 27th of November with those elder sibling type folks or friends who seem to be allies and benefactors. And you definitely won't necessarily get the really good, clean conversation about financial situations with those people until December. So wait for a bit of time. Don't jump into some exciting career endeavor for greater gains and then have yourself wish you hadn't. Friday through Sunday, it may feel frustrating, but the wait is worth it financially. Trust Saturn here. He is the Lord of your sky, even if he is in watery Pisces. And then Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. We've got Mars at the top of the sky, career stuff, ambition, drive, excitement, vim and vigor around career stories, and maybe even a male authority figure really egging you on, or a powerful boss or ally going, yay, we got this, you know, yay you, or you're just killing it up there. But of course, Mars up there can be like someone gets fired and you just want to quit a job situation. Watch out for that. And although you may be frustrated and want to quit something because Saturn is in the house of you got wisdom, you got perseverance, you've got endurance, you know how to like slow this down. I don't know that you feel frustrated. I think someone may feel more frustrated with you. You know, maybe that Mars person is someone's colleague, coworker, some kind of person in authority who wants to massively project forward, and you're like, wait a minute, caution, slow down, got my wait button on right now. You can trust Saturn because you are Saturn right now. Saturn's in the house of you and you're acting like him. So you're becoming more circumspect, sober-minded, realistic, and wise as you move through the next 2.5 years. Jupiter wants to give you some support from a house of siblings, cousins, neighborhood, trips and travel and journeys, quite possibly, especially Mars and friendly skies. Sign of Sag is saying we got to book a trip, take a trip, plan the trip, get the trip going. Let's get this professional trip thingy underway. And Friday through Sunday, you're looking at that and you want to hold off or slow it down. And Jupiter says, yeah, because he's also in a travel house. Let's just not jump to conclusions. Let's wait a bit. Let's see what happens. Pause on the plan or the taking of a trip, maybe. Okay. As the best I can do with that, because it really feels like you don't feel the frustration as much as the caution. And if there's conflict or clashes with bosses or people in the workspace, because you're holding steady and strong and firm in something that matters to you, that may be what we're seeing. And it may involve money because, you know, Mars rules your second house of earnings. And it will come into a trine to the North Node and eventually in the 6-week transit really kill it for you financially in a good way. Right now is not the time to make the bold financial move regarding your career. Wait on Friday through Sunday and give or take a few days on either side. Don't hesitate to hesitate. I love that for you guys. Pisces, don't hesitate to hesitate. The time feels rushed. And you need to give yourself a breathing space around that, right? And you seem to be able to do that. That's the best I have for you, Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. I hope that's useful in our really pithy week ahead. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit my bell for notifications. Really appreciate that, guys. And have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. Don't forget my 2024 All Signs videos are now available for purchase. You may want to get that for $49, 75-minute videos, each times 12. And it's never goes public. It's my fundraiser every December November, December, in order to generate money. And it's normally 77. That price won't be here again. What do I do with that money? I buy microphones. I get equipment. I buy some lipstick for my channel. I hire people. For my sister Nancy does my time stamping. You're helping me grow my business by giving me the funds and resources I need to do that. So if that is something you want to be in and also get 12 videos for each sign, listen for Sun, Moon, and Rising, share with friends and family, stocking stuffers for Christmas for all I care. I don't mind if you share it with other people. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and have a great week ahead. Yeah, except for the Friday to Sunday, it's not so bad. Edit and bye.